Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 5 of my guide to Google Spreadsheets. So, in this episode, we are going to be going over formatting options. I've noticed that in the past episodes, we've had a general focus on the more mathematical sides of this thing, and I thought I might as well include something for those of you who prefer using spreadsheets for mainly text, which is quite unusual, but it still happens. So, let's get straight into it. So the first point that I'd like to get into is text wrapping. So to explain what I mean by that, if we just start typing in text here, and just to make this a bit faster, I'm just gonna paste in text, right? So we notice that this just cuts into other cells, right? And well, what it does is it basically almost automatically merges those cells in a way, and mergers will get back to those later. But if we were to write something here, then that would get cut off, and we can't see the rest of our text. So what text wrapping does is it allows us to basically get that text back into its own box, and the way you access it is right up here, text wrapping. So if we click this one, wrap, right, then what happens is it will stay inside its own cell, and that cell will just get bigger in order to accommodate for it. If we select this one, clip, then it'll just automatically get cut off no matter if there's anything to the right of it. And if we select this one, overflow, then it'll do what's default and just continue into the next cell. So that's text wrapping for you, and it works quite well. So now let's say we want to add a title to this piece of text, right? So so we have text on here, right? And this is supposed to be like a title. But the issue is, notice how this text is all the way in the bottom left corner, and that just looks extremely awkward. Well, the thing is, we can fix that very easily. What we need to do is go up here. These two, horizontal align and vertical align, will allow us to basically center or move our text / numbers to a different side. So currently it's on horizontal align, and currently it's on left, which is why the text is all the way on the left, right? If we go center, then the text will be in the center, and then right, the text will be on the right. Pretty self-explanatory, right? And then it's the exact same with the vertical align, where see, it even shows you with the little buttons here. Right now it's at bottom, we want it in the middle. So now we have a nice title for our little chunk of text, right? But you may be thinking, let's say we have like a longer title, like 3 texts long, right? And you really want to be conserving space for whatever reason, because you also have a title up here that's too long, right? So you may be thinking here, how can I keep space free here, because I want to make the table as like concise as possible, for example. So the way we do that is if we try and squish it down, then it'll just cut off the text, right, as we discussed earlier. But what we can do is we can go right up here to text rotation. Text rotation allows us to basically just change the way our text is rotated. So if we rotate up here, then it'll put it at 90 degrees, and see now we can nicely have our text both sideways and normal ways. And look, in my opinion, this isn't all too useful, but if you really want to conserve those extra like centimeter or 2 of space, then it could be useful. So we have this, right? Actually, I might need to increase the size of this because that seems a bit small. But anyways, we have our rotation, we have our wrap, and we have our centering, right? But what we also need to have is separation between this table and this table. We need to be able to tell what is and isn't a table, right? And to do that, what we can use is borders. So the way we access the border function is right up here. This little like plus inside I like to think of it as a window frame. So we click that, and you see all of these confusing like pictures here, but trust me here, they're actually not too bad. So the way this works is you have an amount, like a certain amount of cells selected. Whatever you select here will basically format those cells in that way. So if you were to select bottom border, then only that bottommost border will be filled in, right? But if we were to select, say, outer borders, then all of the outer borders will be bordered, right? And if we were to select clear borders, then it will go back to default with these like light gray lines. So what this can be useful for is if you want to firstly make a bit more clear separation between your titles and not titles, because they say the same thing for whatever reason, like in this example, then that can be done very easily. And also, if we once again go into this function here, we can also use it to, well, color stuff. If you look here, we have border color and border style. And border style, by the way, that just changes the thickness of the line, or whether you want it like dotted, dashed, 2 lines, whatever, right? But the main thing is here that you can use it to easily separate major points without having to use colors necessarily. Since if you were to, say, use background colors like so, which is another possible way you can separate certain parts of your data or text, they would be useful, but in some cases they aren't as useful. Especially when you have lots and lots of columns and rows, and keeping track of individual colors would just become a pain. So now we have borders, and what else? So you may be thinking, what if we were to somehow combine these tables somehow, right? So we can start off by maybe deleting this, and say we want to have the tables keep up the same space, because why not? So what we need to do then is to merge these cells using this function, right? We can even select merge type. In this case, we can just click the button and it will merge the ones that are selected. What this does is, well, okay, it gives me a warning even. What this does is it basically just combines the cells so that they take up the same amount of space, but it's only one cell. And as it says here, they will only preserve the top leftmost value, which in this case is this one, right? Meaning that this would get deleted, but that's okay. So we click OK, and now we have a big chunk of text. And we should also probably do the same with these titles up here. So we can do that as well. And now we have a nice big bit of text. We'll just extend that up a bit. Aside from this, I did mention earlier we can use colors, right? And if we were to go into the format up here, firstly, this just has basically all the same stuff that you can find here, but there's theme, right? Now what theme does is, you know how in slideshows, there's the like Google like collection of just like slideshow presentation themes. This is kind of the same thing, where instead of presentation, it's just for a spreadsheet. So what these dictate is basically just the font and the colors of your spreadsheet, right? So if we were to change to streamline, notice all that font changes. If we were to switch over to paradigm, then that font changes again. Once again, you can pick and choose whatever you like here. But in my opinion, the best idea is to click customize up here. And then from here, you can pick out all of the fonts and colors that you personally like and you think would work well. So if you really want to make this pop, then you can do you. And yeah, that's how you use formatting in Google Spreadsheets. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I just created my own theme right now. Notice it is the best theme And yeah, that's how you use some of the basic formatting options in Google Spreadsheets. I hope you learned something. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. And other than that, see ya.